Okay, so let me share my screen and then.
Recording is on.
Okay, yeah. So recording has started. So let's kick start. Yesterday we talked about how to create a table. So we won't be going back to that. I will just continue. So for today we'll start with data types in Postgres. Just the basic one. You probably will need to do more research about other data types. So let me open my PG admin. So, okay, so we'll just talk about the data types and then the data types in Postgres and move on to something interesting. So, can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Is it clear? Is
I
it
can
clear?
see your screen and I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So data types are kind of like ways of representing data in Postgres. So remember, in English language or in mathematics, we don't really have data type like that, but we have something like true, false. We have numbers. I think in mathematics today talk about integers and the rest. So how does Postgres recognize that? Okay, this particular stuff, yeah. If you're not speaking, please can you turn off your microphone? So how does Postgres know that this type of data? What is this type of data? You understand? For instance, if you go to a supermarket, probably if you want to buy something, you probably go to a category. You understand? Like, okay, where is this thing located under, or where is this thing? Like, what's the group? You can't really be searching for a perfume under the category for drinks. Sorry, can you hear me? So you can't be searching for perfume under drink category, you understand, or under drink section, you understand. So the type of a particular object determines how you treat it. So, or you can't even say you want to buy bread and you are going to where they are selling maybe beer or the rest. Like the type of bread is different. So just think of it as how Postgres will treat this thing, so that whenever Postgres wants to perform any operation, maybe you want to eat bread and egg, and you went to go and buy Gouda or malt. That is not bread, you understand? You may probably drink Gouda and egg, or probably malt or egg, or maybe any of these beverages, but that is not bread, because you can't perform the operation that you can perform on bread on beverage. So the type of an object, sorry, the type of an object actually determines what you can do with it. So Postgres has different types of data types. And apart from Postgres, too, most programming language like JavaScript, Python, Go, Ruby on Rails, and any of these programming language actually have what is called data type. So because when you are performing operation on some certain object, the programming language needs to understand, okay, this is this, so I can actually do this stuff. Probably if you know that, okay, this is a number, then I can add it together. But if it is a character, you can't divide the character by character. You can't say yes divided by yes. You understand? Yeah. So Postgres has something called, look at the data types here. We have Boolean, you have character, variable character, text, numeric, integers. And the second assignment, this is part of what we'll be doing. So, but actually the truth is, it's just because I don't know. Because a lot of persons have issues, like maybe they say their schedule is very stuff. Normally, assignment also, the deadline for assignment also will be so that next day or after the next meeting day, we could just do like a correction or like a review. But because of the tight schedule of people and because this training is free, we just had to just probably give allowance of a lot of days. Imagine what we gave the assignment last week and to this week, some things have not really done. So that's one of the reasons why normally before we take this, you also have done the assignment and then probably you research about it and then I just come to class and then probably just summarize. Postgres data types, you have booleans, variable characters, you have text, you have numeric, you have integers, and a lot of stuff. I won't be covering everything because of time. Boolean. Postgres supports a single Boolean data type. So Booleans can have like three values: true, false, and none. true, false, or not. So any programming language apart from SQL, in Python too, Python has something like true, false, or none. So those are called booleans. So you kind of use it to specify a condition. Probably this thing is this thing true. Maybe as a lady now, your gender is female. You understand? So true. If someone is to ask you, are you a female? You say yes, I am. So yes, true. You understand? So yes, true. One. Again, if you probably study anything related to electrical or electronics engineering or stuff like that, you realize that when a current is passing through a particular wire or something, you indicate that in with a one, and if there's no current, indicate it is zero. So one means true, and zero means false. So let's just do a demo of creating a table with what's it called, with boolean. So any question? Okay. Any question? Hello? 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 Hello, can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can someone
Hello.
hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, but is it that you guys are not very? I've been saying hello since. Or is there a lag? Hello?
Please come again. Is there what?
What is there any lag between my voice and or when you hear it? Probably maybe there's a minute lag, or maybe a lag means probably maybe when I say something, take you like maybe 20,
I
30
was looking for the mic icon.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So let's just talk about creating a boolean, and let's just use something like shoplift, and we have a table here. So take for instance, we want to talk about altering, right? We talk about altering and adding to a column. So we have for the table customer. Let me do something. Query to probably we could add another column or maybe modify. So let's say select or from customers. Select all from customers. So we have name, you have location. So let's take for instance, we want to add a column, probably maybe the customer is probably owing any debt or something like that, or probably the customer is a debtor. Just want to add a column that will probably specify if the customer is a debt or something like that. So yesterday we talked about altering, right? So when you start table, customers, and then you add, right? Add what? Add the name of the column. Let's see, debtor is debtor is debtor, and then what will be? Let's use this as boolean, and then yeah. So let's run this. So query ran successfully. So this is just like you are doing. Remember, we talk about when you are creating a table, when you are creating a column, you have to specify the data type that will be inside that column. So that Postgres, what will be going to this thing is this type of data type. And then the first day I talk about when I was talking about Postgres or SQL, I said something like with SQL, you can actually enforce some constraint on your data or on your table. So for a particular column, there are some values you want your column to have. take for instance, for your name column now, you don't want someone to enter number. If you have already specified to Postgres that, okay, this is a variable, what will be a variable character or a character. So Postgres knows that, okay, anything that is entering this table is a character. Number cannot enter. So like data type determines basically, and I said when we started, you go to ShopRite or any of these shopping malls, you can't see, it's rare except there's an issue or with those that are actually stocking the shop or something like that. So if you are locating a bread under drink section, or you are locating baby's clothes under bread section, then there's an issue. You understand? So just think of it as that, like there's something that there's a rule that guides you when you're inserting your data, and Postgres kind of help you to keep to that, so that when you're entering a particular value into a column, because remember, SQL works based on column. So based on your column, Postgres know that, okay, for this column, the value that should be here is a number. If it's not a number, that is when you're creating the column, you specify it. Yesterday we talk about create table. When you create table, and then you do when you do like a kind of all this stuff. So when you do something like create table, and then the table name, let's take for instance employee. I think we have employee yesterday, and then so this is the name of the table. There are different ways to actually create something, and then you add what, you add the name of the column. So let's say name. So you want to add a table to your database for shop left, and then when you put the name, now you are going to specify what will be this, what are you going to be entering into the column name. You understand? So you have to specify to Postgres, know how to enforce the rules. And that's one reason why Postgres is actually like, not just Postgres, like SQL, because Postgres is kind of like an SQL flavor. You understand? So when you put your name and then you put the data type, can put varchar. So now Postgres will know that, okay, if it is 45, that means what is entering here is a variable character. Yeah, so I think it's clear. If it's not clear, just let me know so that I'll go over it. I believe it's clear, right? Hello? Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Fairly enough. Well, like I'm following. I wasn't around yesterday, but I'm following. So I intend to go back and watch the video. But I'm following so far.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, that's fine.
Am I the only one in this class? Where is everybody?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we are quiet, but there wasn't much.
Yeah, it's
Okay. So now, yeah. So now, if you want to, we have not talked about inserting. So let's just leave inserting for now. Let's talk about data types. So now let's move on to the next. So Booleans is just like maybe this thing is this and that and that and that. So the values you can actually put into it is either yes, false, no, or the rest. You understand? So we have not talked about inserting, but I think let's just walk over inserting. So part of the
Sorry,
assignment
sir.
actually
Please excuse me, sir.
is
Bowling is under what now? Like I don't know the connection between bowling and what we're
true.
doing.
Okay, this is kind of like when you are creating your table. This is just like data types.
Bowling is a data type or it's
Yes,
another.
yes.
Okay.
Boolean is a data type, just the same way you have integers, the same way you have numbers, or the same way you have text.
Okay.
So yeah, you use it to specify probably for a condition, maybe true or false. Like I said, maybe as a lady now, your attribute to be female, right? Your gender is female. So if someone is to ask a question, maybe are you a female? The answer will be yes. So that yes is similar to true, or is similar to one. So take for instance now, you want to track people that have been owing you money, or debtors, or your friends that probably you borrow them money. In Africa generally, when you borrow people money, they will expect to forget or something like that or something. So now maybe you are tracking your friends that you borrowed money, debtors and stuff. So now you put the first person's name, maybe Chukudi Kwame or something. Chukudi Kwame. Chukwudi Kwame is owing you maybe 50,000 something. So because it's owing you 50,000, it's a debtor. So that debtor column now will be what? Yes. So you can create database, like I said, you can create database for anything to track anything. So instead of using Excel, you can actually use that to track people and say, okay, Chukwudi Kwame is owing me money, so it's a debtor. So anywhere you see Chukwudi Kwame is a debtor. You understand? So that is kind of like how you, because you probably be inserting values into your table. And that's part of the assignment I actually give you guys the assignment to you inserting something into your customer table. So you probably be inserting. So when you start inserting something into your table now, you probably need to specify, okay, what are you inserting? You understand? And how Postgres will actually help you to enforce the rules on your data or on your table is based on the information you give it. So if you probably now tell Postgres that, okay, you are storing, instead of you putting it as maybe a name, now you now put the attribute, the data type of your name as a number. That means any name you are going to put must be a number. So instead of you are going to write the name as a binary. So you now go and probably now know how you are going to convert a. Maybe your name is Antoinette. Now you are not going to know how to convert a to one or to a number. You understand? So that is just the thing about data types. Is it clear?
I'm
Hello?
following. I'm following. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, sure. So data type are just like how you represent your data. Or yesterday I talked about plantain chips and plantain. And the truth is, you can't be selling an unripe plantain and calling it a plantain chip because the data type or the type of that object is not a chip. You understand? It's just a normal plantain. So the type of something determines what you do. So if you go to party now, you don't expect someone to serve you ordinary rice because that let's say that is not what should be served. You understand? Like probably that should be served maybe somewhere where people want to go and buy rice to cook or something. But in a party or in a party mood or in the funeral or the rest, you probably are looking for someone to probably give you party jollof rice or maybe jollof and all this stuff. So the type of song actually determines what you get. You understand? So just think of it as a type. So for instance, now you want to compute or you're a lecturer now. Take for instance, a lecturer in a university or polytechnic or monotechnic, and then you want to record the scores of your students. So for the scores of students now, the score is a number. You understand? You don't want to insert probably some places maybe they are drunk. I actually read the story of some guys that went to party. Yes, I think on Friday night and they were drunk and they had an accident. They died. So take for instance, maybe someone is drunk and the person just mistakenly just type a number, or instead of typing a number for grade or for score, the person probably go and type a character. Maybe instead of typing 70, the person types 70 with a quotation, something like a string. So now, instead of Postgres to accept that, because you already specified that, okay, what must enter this column is a number because you are computing the numbers of students, the score of students. So for scores of students, remember it must be a number, right? So you have to specify to Postgres that, okay, this column, when you are creating it, that, okay, this column should contain a number. So that whenever you are trying to insert anything that is other than a number or that is not a number, Postgres will throw an error. So just think of it like that. I think that is kind of very, very clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to probably inserting something for customers. Or should we come back to this list? Okay, let's not talk about inserts. We'll talk about inserts later. So I see these just booleans, and then let's talk about character. This is just to give you an overview of all this stuff so that when you are creating a table, you understand what this thing is. So we'll still talk about how to insert and stuff and do a lot of stuff. So characters are just like your letters. So now you need to realize that there's a pattern with Postgres or any of this programming language, because you kind of specify what values a column will take in and the data type. Take for instance, for female restroom, if you go to probably a supermarket or a bank, normally female restroom should only ladies should be allowed into a female restroom. Am I right? You understand? You shouldn't find a male, or shouldn't find a man, or you shouldn't even find an hermaphrodite or something inside. Though the current world we are living in now, people are talking about binary and a lot of stuff. But let's just assume before the binary stuff and LGBT, or what did they call themselves before they started all this stuff. Just think of it. Probably maybe around 2000 or 2001, 2002, when the world was still normal. You understand? Like, it's rare for you to see a male in a woman's or in a lady restroom. You understand? Because the type of a man is different. So how does the security man enforce that? Okay, a man must not and should not enter a lady's restroom? By checking the type of that man. You understand? So you're not saying, okay, when you're creating a restroom for ladies, you probably put a symbol, okay, so that when the security man sees that, okay, this symbol is for, looks like a lady, maybe they just draw a skirt or something, you know, that, okay, ladies wear skirts, you understand? And then for all ladies wear skirts, and this kind of like a symbol for ladies, and this people that should enter this restroom based on the symbol is ladies or are ladies, you understand? So now the security man will kind of enforce that, so that whenever a man that is not of that type, that is not of that, that is not a male, that is not a female, when a male wants to enter, so the security man will probably check, is this person of this type? Is this person a female? If the answer is no, then the security man will probably shout at the man, or probably tell the man, sir, you can't enter this place, or something like that. And again, most times, sometimes when, probably for those who go to nightclub or the rest, I don't go to nightclub, but just think for instance, probably those that go to nightclub, I think there's something called bouncer, right? Like bouncer kind of like they use a characteristics to actually bounce people out. To take for instance, you're not with, or even if it's not clubs, say probably you go to occasions, because I think there was a time in 2019 I went to an occasion, and for you to enter, you have to probably tender an invitation. So if you don't have the invitation, then probably they'll send you out. So the bouncer will probably use the criteria that has been given to him or her to enforce those rules. So just think of it as that data type. So people that are invited have the type of maybe a VIP. Those that were not invited, that means they don't have a type of VIP, and only VIPs can enter. So I think that is kind of very, very clear or something. But if you still have any question, maybe after the class, just ask. So character now. Character tells you, okay, this is how. Character tells you that, okay, this is how. Character tells you, okay, this is a text. So just think of characters as text. Think of characters like your name, because probably you are trying to get the names of your friends and you want to populate it in a database. You can do that and then probably put it in a database. How are you going to specify it? You can't just come to Postgres and start writing something. Someone actually ran into an error today too, and the person was trying to insert an ordinary text like this without anything into Postgres through an error. So that's because, so you need to realize that Postgres kind of help you to enforce all this stuff. So in Postgres you have, or in SQL generally, MySQL, Postgres, Oracle SQL, and the rest, or Microsoft Server SQL, they have, most times they kind of have the same pattern of data types. You understand? So for Postgres now, how do you specify a character? So you can specify with something like chars. That is kind of like a short form of character. And then when you're specifying the character, you have to specify the length of that character. So the length is just like the numbers of words, or no, sorry, the numbers of letters, the number of letters that a particular character can accommodate. So take for instance, and you are just particular about, you want to have a consistent name length. So maybe Buhari. Probably everybody in Nigeria, probably, let's just assume that in Nigeria, we have the same number of letters in our name. So that means for this person now, maybe this person is Buhari, the president, and then another person has another name, maybe Bu something, but it must be 5, like it kind of exceed 5. So you probably will use something like a char, that is a car, with your n. Your n will be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. So if this is 6, so you're telling him that, okay, for this character, I'm expecting, for this column, the values you are going to store should be a character. Remember, characters are like letters. Just think of characters as nouns, pronouns. Anything is not a number. You understand? Yeah. So that is a character. Maybe anything that is not a number is a character. So with this now, if you are probably specifying this, you just create a table. Let's say you want to create a table, or let's say let's alter this, alter table. customers. You want to add a new column, customers, add. So what can we add? Well, customers, what do you think a customer? Okay, let's say email address, email address. Yeah. So now you are telling Postgres that okay, I want to add a column. What will this column store? And this column will store what is called email address. Can email address, remember, email address cannot be a number. Yes, you can actually have a number, but email address can't start with a number. You can't have an email address with 123 at this thing. It must probably start with a character. You understand? And how do you specify? Even if you have a number, once you have a character and a number, that particular value is no longer a number. It is a character. So let's take for instance, you are saying, okay, I'm in room 111. Because you already have room 111 and the name of the room is probably room 111. Then that means that is a character. So what are you telling Postgres? How are you going to save email address? And we have different email addresses can range from maybe, let's say, an email address can range from maybe 5 or let me say 7 to probably 30 or 40 or 50. So to be on the safe side, you probably will use, if you want to use a character now, if you use CHR, now, and then you specify 56, that means nobody, like all your customers must have an email address that is 56. Like the numbers of letters in the email address should be 56. So you must have probably the person is a lot of numbers, maybe at gmail.com. But you know that this is not really feasible because it's rare for you to have for all your customers to follow the same format. Like someone might just say, okay, maybe someone's official email is just do at maybe Etacude.org or something. You understand? So you can't really enforce that 50. So when you use character, it's like, okay, the numbers must always be 56. So you can't insert anything less than 56 inside a column with a character. So that is what Postgres used to enforce that. But when you use a variable character, so when you talk about varchar or variable character, so you're telling that, okay, this is 56, but you can have an email address which that is 1 or 2. Maybe the person, but I doubt if it is possible to have like 1 or 2. There are different ways to actually set a constraint to specify that okay, the length of this thing cannot be probably not that assignment for you or for it to probably do more research. But take for example, the person's email, it's not even possible. Maybe, see, if you look at this is 1, 2, 3. At i.com is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at least minimum the person should have like 7 characters. You understand? So with var character now, you're saying okay, at least minimum. You are not specifying any minimum. Maximum is 56. So the person your customer can have different email address length. So some have that person have worry at Nigeria. Nigeria.com. Another person can have maybe I think what of the references Aduka Nana something I think is Nana. We have
Sorry, your network is breaking. I can barely hear you, and then your video is disconnected.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Sure?
I can't see your video any longer, and your voice is breaking. I think it's network, Sha. I don't know. What about the video?
It's network. Sorry.
Okay, we're back now.
Yeah, sorry, it's my network. So, where did I lose, or where did you lose me, or something?
You were talking about variable character that you're not specifying a minimum. You're only setting a maximum at 56.
Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So, with the email address now, you are telling Postgres that okay, you want this because you want to add. You are altering a table. Remember, like yesterday, we talked about alter table, create table, and a lot of stuff. So maybe you already created the table. Sorry, maybe when initially when you created the table, you just felt okay, your table only have like 4 columns, and now probably you want to add more columns to this. Maybe you forgot to add a column instead of creating the table from scratch. Because someone asked a question yesterday and it was like, okay, why instead of altering, why not create this table again? if you create it again, because it has the same name, Postgres will throw an error. Your table must have distinct name. The names must be different, because just look at it now. That is what Postgres used to do any computation or any operation. So if the names are the same, like how will you identify which one is which? You understand? Probably, in GRA or government reserve areas, most times most of the houses kind of they follow the same pattern. So how do you know? Probably, let's take for instance, someone is owing you money in that estate. How do you know the person? So you have to probably go to check the number. So, but Postgres doesn't really want to do that. It wants all the tables to have like a distinct name. You understand? So the names must be distinct. You understand? So that is why you can't go back to create again. Someone was like, okay, let's go back to the query. Maybe while we created the table, then we'll go back again and create it again. Postgres will try an error, because you are having, let's take for instance, you have create table. Remember, create table with which name? Let's say we'll talk about products. This ought to be your assignment, but I won't give you the expo, but let me just, so create table product. That is the name of the table. And then, can you hear me now? Can you still hear me?
Yes, I
Hello?
can.
Okay. So with your name now, let's take for instance, you only name of the product, or your product. Let's say this is a table, then the name, and then what is the data type of this column. That is like var and let's say 45. So now if you create this table, let me comment this out. Let me comment this out. Remember how to comment, you just highlight it and press control and your backslash. Yeah, so that's the thing. Am I speaking too fast? Okay, Florence would like to speak. Okay, yeah. The floor is yours. So just unmute yourself and speak. Hello, Florence. Hello, Florence. Florence, so that we don't waste time, can you speak up? So
Can you hear
if
me now?
yes, you can hear you. Yes. Hello.
Now.
Yes, I think your network is bad. I can see it's red or something.
Okay, it was when you were explaining the car. I guess it's my network.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, it was when the data type that I wanted to say something. I
Okay.
was thinking if you wanted a column for phone number, for example, in Nigeria, phone numbers are like 11. Like nobody can have any number that is less than 11 or more than 11 digits. So you can use car 11 for that kind of column.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
was thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, sure. So for those that probably did not really hear what she said, for if you want to specify, like, remember, like in Nigeria, I think your number should be around 11 digits, right, without the country code. So without the plus 234, your number should be 11 080 something something something. It must not be more than 11, and it cannot be less than 11. Yeah, you understand. So for that now, if you want to probably, maybe you are in, maybe Shoplift is in Nigeria, and you want to probably get the numbers of your customer, probably maybe as they sign up on your website, you get their number. So, and you want to ensure that, okay, the numbers that are entering or the values that are entering should be 11. You don't want a customer with 10 numbers or 10 digits. If it's 10, you can't call the customer. So you probably need to enforce some rules. So you probably just say 11. So for Postgres to insert that, you know that, okay, if this thing is not 11, if the digit is not 11, then it will throw an error. Yeah. So thank you very much for the addition, Florence. So now this your, let's say for instance, this is your column, and then you made a mistake. You just created let's say for instance your table for product with a name, but you want to have something that's maybe the expiry date of the product. Can you hear me? If can you hear me? Please, if you can't hear me, just let me know so that So create table products, name, voucher, or something.